started. Okay, so the meetings is starting at 4:01 p.m. And we have here Elaine Paleo, Ann Brigham, BZ Riley, Christine Marglin, and Christine Robinson is trying to connect but has not been able to as of this moment. Does anyone want to move to accept the minutes from our last meeting?
So moved. By Elaine.
All those in favor? Let's see, everybody has to go around and just say,
Yes.
okay, that's BZ.
Paleo.
Yes.
Yes, and Elaine.
Yes.
Yes for me, and yes from Christine Marglin. Okay, and Christine Robinson, you are here. So can you unmute and let me know if a yes or no on the minutes?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So, let's see. Why don't
There
we
you
start?
are.
Oh, good. And now we can see and hear you. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
So why don't we start off with the skate vouchers? Christine and Elaine, do you want to give us the update on what has or has not happened in this case?
I don't know anything.
I know nothing.
I know nothing.
You're lucky. So basically, I emailed Stephen and spoke to Rachel, and nobody used them, but it's okay because Barbara
Has an idea. Yeah, I think we might want to, and I don't know if we're able to at this moment, figure out why it was that people did not use them, whether it was not being able to get down to Springfield, whether it was this very peculiar winter that we had, so that at the time that the vouchers went out, it was really quite warm, and probably no safe skating around. But that might be something we'll want to speak to Stephen about and figure out before we either decide to or not to do the vouchers again next year. Does that make sense to people?
Did anybody pick them up?
Yes, people picked them up. This is what Stephen said. He emailed me and said he has connected with families 2 or more times since the vouchers went out. Some still really wanted to use them, and a few brought them back. He gave them to new families last week. That was as of Sunday, the 19th. And then I called Rachel, and she said that no one showed up. And Barbara, you're being very nice. I could say some not so nice things, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Oh,
About the people.
okay. Probably better not to have that on the recording.
Exactly. But you all know me.
Indeed, we do. And love you. So here's the idea that I had, and that is that we put it towards the family field day. When I saw Stephen one night during pickleball, he was saying that he really wanted to get, I think he said a bouncy house to use at the field day. And he seemed to have all kinds of good ideas for it, but he doesn't have the money. So this would probably, I don't know how much bouncy houses cost, but if we want to just earmark this money for expenses related to the family field day and fun day, I will say to Stephen that we can help with the expenses of the bouncy house. If that is, I think we would have to take a vote on that, but why don't we have a discussion about it first? So.
Wow, that sounds it sounds interesting. We would have to check with the school first to know what kind of insurance or concerns they would have if we have it out on the field, but it's town property. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
No idea.
I'll check with Stephen and ask him to look into that.
But I think it's a great idea.
Me too.
Any other comments or, okay, some thumbs up. So, let me just think. So family field day, I keep wanting to call it family fun day, but it's a fun field day.
It is fun.
It is fun. It's F cubed day. Our next meeting isn't until, oh, and that'll still be time, end of April.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we got plenty of time on that one. We don't need to take a vote then on what we're gonna do with the money right this second. We can make that decision. Plus we'll be having 2 events in 3 events. We will have 3 more events, starting 2 in May. Invasive plants, the farm day, and then we'll have the field day. So good.
Have you heard from Marianne anything about Celebrate Shutesbury? Remember
No.
that was supposed to be in the spring also?
It's not going to be. I only had, and this was a very kind of in passing kind of conversation, which was that it's not going to happen, that it seemed kind of unlikely. She's so busy with the library.
Mhm.
We really are not equipped to do that at all. So I don't know when or exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, even if she were to come to us at this point, I think our answer, again, we would have to vote on it, but I would make a strong argument against not doing it this spring. Because I think it needs a lot more time running up to it, at least 6 months to
Mm.
get people lined up, to get people on board with helping. This is too short notice. So.
Yep.
Okay. Confirming date for family field day. I had Saturday, June 10th,
Mhm.
and we all looked at the thing that went into the town newsletter, and it showed up as June 11th in the town newsletter, but I'm not too concerned about that because there's another newsletter that's going to be coming out for the spring.
Yep.
And so we'll make sure that that's corrected, and nothing in there said this is the definite date. So everything was somewhat tentative. So I will confirm. Yeah, Christine?
Sorry, is there a rain day for that event?
Did we have one last year, Elaine? Do you recall?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we did.
Yeah.
Was it the following Saturday
Yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Saturday. Mhm.
okay. So June 11th or June 10th, and if it's rained out, then June 17th. And I'll run those dates past Stephen. Let's see, next is reviewing programming for spring. So how about an update on the farm, on the sanctuary? At this point, how many people have we heard from and how is that process going?
Sorry, let's see. I can tell you that what I have. See all guests. I have 12 adults and 5 kids so far.
Great.
Okay, 12 adults, 5 kids. I guess we should set a date by which if we can let people continue to sign up, but I need to let Tricia know the numbers and ages of kids because she was going to prepare some materials for taking home appropriate to the ages. So
I have 5-year-olds, 2 5-year-olds, a 9-year-old, and I got let's see. I got a message from somebody else. Yeah, how do I read my messages? Sorry. Oh, messages, there they are. Let's see. And a 10-year-old. I have 2 5-year-olds, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, and one that I don't know.
Okay.
And how did people hear about this?
I sent out an email blast from the rec committee and
that went to everybody in town or?
everybody who signed up for the town email. I can put it on next door. I didn't put it on next door yet, did I?
I could put it on next door. I mean,
Sure.
that's something I can do. I didn't know how to do the Evite.
The Evite it's in that email blast. Did you get the email blast?
I didn't, no.
I didn't either.
Oh,
I'm
I
on
got
the
it.
thing. Who got it? Pam?
I did.
I
Could
got
you
it.
use, do you guys still have it? Like, could you forward it in?
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. I'll forward it to
Thank
you.
you.
And Barbara,
Yeah, I need it too. I didn't get it either.
easy, yeah,
All
okay.
right, and then I'll
Where?
put it on Nextdoor. Yeah.
Now, I have a
Okay.
question about using Nextdoor for our activities. Is that-
Okay, yeah, that's true. Maybe
I
not.
I just wonder if that's a good way to go. because
You can restrict it to just Shutesbury. People who
Right.
just live in Shutesbury.
But there are a lot of people who won't go on it because it's so divisive.
Well, but that's fine. That's fine.
I know, I'm just saying it doesn't reach,
No, but the email blast should have,
but
and
the
we
email
did,
blast seems like a better way to go than that.
we did do that. We can do both.
Right, and what about the school? Are we?
We
do they
should,
still do the newsletter?
they'd still do the newsletter, and so, and the library puts their
Mhm.
little newsletter out. We
So
could-
maybe check with Mary Ann about getting it in one of their newsletters and then,
Yeah, I could ask
check-
Marianne. I'll
and
ask,
what
Okay.
about putting it on our website?
all right,
Sure.
I'll ask Marianne and I'll put it on Nextdoor.
Okay,
Christine, is there a cap? Is there a maximum number?
50.
50, okay.
so what will be our last date for RSVPing then?
Yeah, I thought that we were gonna just get the 50, we're gonna fill up based on what she had told me happened before. So I didn't even think about that. Maybe early that week.
Okay,
Like this is happening on a Saturday, so maybe, I don't know, Tuesday or so. I don't know. What do you think? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
I guess another thing would be to ask her how much lead time she would need.
Yeah,
Because she might say, well, I just need to know 2 days ahead of time because presumably the materials are already.
Yeah, I think
Ready?
it's a matter of printing them out. So
Yeah.
I don't think she needs a lot of lead
Yeah.
time.
And
Mhm.
also some of the things, the invitations that have already gone out went out without that. So, there's gonna have to be some flexibility that there may be people who will RSVP who didn't know that there's a drop dead date.
right.
And that's only that aspect of it, other than the cap, the number cap. The only aspect of it is about her printing out
yeah,
handouts that she's come up with for children and wanting to be age appropriate in what she
Mhm.
puts out. So it's like if adults or teens are coming, if babies are, it's totally irrelevant. It's only for that one piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christine?
I have a question because like I'm signed up. So should I not be on that list because I'm part of the rec committee and allow,
You're not signed up.
I signed up for it.
I
Mm,
thought I saw her name, Elaine, when I did my test yesterday.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Thanks,
Right.
Elaine.
Christine, you should be signed up. You should be signed up because you're a body. Like I don't think I'm
Okay.
going to be able to make it actually that day.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm not signing up. I'll come if I can, but I'm not going to sign up because I don't want to take a place when I think I may not be able to go, as it's turned out. So yeah, but I think just, she's not going to freak out if 51 people. It's not like an auditorium with a certain number of seats. She just wants to have it be manageable.
Yeah.
And the road, there's you're parking along the edge of the road.
Mhm.
And it's like, we had a lot of cars when I did the other visit there. And so, she just wants it to be manageable, reasonable. If I was going, Christine, we should carpool, in fact, but
Okay, cool.
I probably can't. So.
Well, we'll talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the members who are going, we could carpool.
Definitely, definitely.
Just to lower the number of cars, yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
So I'm gonna put it on our website. Is there anything else that I need to be doing?
No,
Can I cheer now?
Christine, you're going to put it on Nextdoor and you're going to talk to Mary Ann,
Right.
and I'll I'll put it into the road town. The,
Great.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah. Oh, I forget, Christine, you don't have a child there anymore. Thanks for sending that in. I always think of Christine as having a child.
I wish I didn't.
Spoken like the parent of a teenager.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, I think with terms of the other programming, we're all set. I'll send a confirmation to Zoe for that Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. I'll also just confirm with Brian and with Stephen around our date and our rain date. I think that is then it. Now, is there a way to send reminders out to people through Evite shortly before?
Automatic? Isn't there like an automatic thing? Because like when I buy a ticket, or even if it's a free ticket through Evite, I always get this like reminder.
Okay.
You have a ticket for whatever, even if it's like a free Zoom thing or whatever. I always automatically get that.
So
Oh,
this
okay.
is for the farm tour you're talking about?
Yeah, for the
Oh, I'm
sanctuary.
sorry. Are we talking about the
Yeah,
sanctuary now?
yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay,
talking about the
okay.
sanctuary. Yeah.
Okay.
And how did that go out? Like, how did that invitation go out?
that was the one that was the email blast.
Oh, okay, that's not the one at the farm. This
Yes.
is
No.
No, no, no,
The-
this
no,
is.
there's two
this is the
farms.
sanctuary.
There's
Yeah, they're two
ancient-
different farms, right?
Right,
Yes,
there's Ancient
Okay.
Pony Farm. That's why I keep switching. I start to say farm and then say sanctuary because it's
I know. Okay,
Yeah.
so we gotta keep our language
our
straight.
language straight. And in terms of Ancient Pony Farms, what we did last year was had that go out through Marianne because she co-sponsored that and the invasive plant guy with us. And so we'll continue with that collaboration with those two events. Okay. Yeah, and
Barbara, I somehow didn't write down the date for the invasive plants workshop. Could you tell me that one?
oh no.
Anybody?
I don't have it written down right here. It's in my book. I'm looking it up. May 13th.
Oh.
Invasive plant guy, my
Thank you.
appointment book says, AKA Brian.
Workshop. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? May.
Oh, shoot, I don't remember. What I say?
13th.
Thank you.
13.
Okay. Do you know
I-
where and when? Like
We
time?
don't know where yet. I'll ask, actually, any of you, we need a place where there's a lot of Japanese knotweed, because that's going to be the real focus of this. I know that Marianne has had some locations in mind, but his area of specialization is eradicating knotweed. And while I'm sure he'll be happy to talk about the eradication of other things, I think the knotweed is one of the things that has
You know,
great concern.
Kathy Carey had a bunch around her place, and the reason she's coming to mind is that she lives up near the AC, and so people could park there.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
So,
that's a good idea, Wayne.
Okay.
so how would I get in touch with Kathy Carey? I'll try.
Okay, well, let's check with Marianne first, because she
Yeah.
also had some ideas. And it
Yeah.
was nice last year being up at the Lotto 32 because there was ample parking. So that's a great idea.
And the time, Barbara, is the time 10?
It was 10 last time, and so, yeah, I'm assuming it'll be
Okay.
10 again this time, and 10 for Ancient Pony Farms as well. And what is the time for the sanctuary again?
Noon.
Noon. Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, so I just need to put on my list to contact Marianne about location for Brian. Okay,
And the ancient pony thing is on Saturday or Sunday of Memorial Day?
Saturday, the 20th.
Saturday.
Is that the 25th?
Is that the Saturday of that week?
Saturday of Memorial Day weekend was farm, yeah, the 27th. Mhm. And it was 10 to 12 last year. And I assume it'll be the same. The first hour was her talking about her farming techniques, the sustainable farming. And I assume that's what we'll do again, or what I'll ask for this time again. And then the second hour was going into the farmyard, and the kids could hold the baby goats and the grown-ups could hold the baby.
I know,
goats.
I was gonna say, it wasn't just the children.
Uh-huh.
Skip those kids. Yeah, we want all those. Darn it. That's right.
I'm really sorry, but can you repeat the date of Ancient Ponies?
Sure, I think it's May 27th,
Okay,
which is a Saturday.
great. Okay.
I love the expression, a mind like a steel trap, because I always think of a steel trap trying to hold water and it just like all flows out. So I do indeed have a mind like a steel trap and there's just all this space for things to disappear. So, okay. So anything else on our planned programming? Okay, so I've sent a text, and as I let all of you know, or an email rather, I kind of had forgotten about it. So it went in last week to the select board requesting 3 more positions. And not too surprisingly, I have not heard back yet. So we'll want to start thinking about possible people. I think we all had thought Brian Gigley would be a good choice. And I have not said anything to him yet, not knowing whether or not we're going to have positions, but I don't know whether anyone has other people who have come to mind, or, and if not, then perhaps by our next meeting, we could each kind of just think whether or not we know any basically younger people, preferably people with young children, because that's what a lot of our programming is aimed at. Is there any ideas?
I had an idea of making a flyer and having it, you know, at the library, just saying the rec committee is looking for new members. I mean, a lot of young families go to the library,
Mhm.
and you know, Mary Ann, I think, would be okay with that because, you know, our programming and hers sort of sync together, and
Yeah,
and if we're really going to need some young people to help with the garden,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to design it and make it. And
thank you.
you think that's a good idea? I don't know. That's sort of old school way of doing things, but sometimes that attracts people's attention. If you have just on her counter there, if there was just a little thing saying, I don't know. And then maybe if I did it, you could also hand it out at the pickleball,
Mm.
you know,
Well,
Yeah,
pickleball.
not that
Yeah.
that's a young
Easy, I'm
crowd.
one of the younger people at pickleball. Let me
Yeah.
just
I
put it
know, I
that
know,
way.
I know.
yeah, Christine?
I believe there was a soup dinner at the school put on by, I think it was the PTO, because my friend Martha was there and I know Susie Mosier was there. And that might be a time to try to recruit, because I know they were trying to recruit younger people, younger families to get on. I think it's the PTO. I forget what they were there for recently. There was a soup meal on Sunday. But if we can set up a table at some of these events that attract these younger families
Mhm.
with their parents, maybe that might be a means to put the word out.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I don't know, obviously, I don't know what kinds of events they have planned at the school, but I think if we have a flyer, whether there's an event, if there's an event, we can take the flyers, and if there isn't an event, we can ask in the office if there's a place where we could leave flyers for families who might be, or individuals who might be interested.
Do they do the spaghetti supper there anymore?
I don't
Haven't
think so.
heard. I haven't heard anything.
I don't think so.
Wow, the end of an era, huh?
Well, I think maybe they do just something for the 6th grade families. It was very low key, I heard, that they did last year.
Uh-huh.
I'm also thinking out loud because we've got spring cleanups coming up.
Right.
And I know I'm going to be at 2 houses, but I don't think these people are going to be interested. But, you know, I think if we show up at someone's house, we could hand out flyers for it.
What about your across the street neighbor, Barbara? He's got 2 kids.
Oh, Susie's
Susie's
son? You think she hasn't already tried to? But yeah, I'll
You
I'll
know,
walk across.
maybe something different that mom's
Yeah.
not getting you involved in.
I will. I've got to go across the street anyway to see if he wants all the wood that I have. So that will be another, I keep putting that off. So that'll be another incentive to go over there. I'll wait until we actually know we have the spots, but yeah, he would, yeah, that would be great.
And I think, let me check if it's on their, agenda. They meet next week. They didn't meet this week, so that's why you wouldn't have gotten any information from them. But let me
Hmm.
see if you're on their agenda. Do. Well, they don't have anything posted for next week.
Okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I'll keep looking and see
great.
when it's posted, because we'll want to be there.
Yeah, yeah. And now that I have finally figured out how to painlessly keep track of the email for the rec committee, I'm on top of it.
Atta girl.
I know it. I know. I just, email isn't my favorite thing.
Well, it seems like
Okay.
we have a bunch of things coming up this spring, right? If we had a little handout, I mean, like half of an 8.5 by 11, that we're at like one of these events where there, you know, are some young families, and we just say, hey, you know, we're interested in, I mean, if people are going to things already,
Mhm. Yeah,
like they
I think-
might,
yeah,
you know, I think they're people, those kind of people are the kind of people we want, who are
Yes.
attending things,
Mhm.
going to stuff.
Would it make sense on the flyer to also include the activities?
Yes.
Probably not the sanctuary because that's coming up too soon, but the activities in May. And then if we can get that flyer out, I guess we have to wait though, don't we? We have to wait until after we have heard from the select board. But if we know by the
They're gonna
end
be
of
fine with it.
what?
They're gonna be fine with it.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll just,
Well,
but the,
Tell you.
I mean, I think you could put on the sanctuary. I think if, you know, I mean, to BZ's point, it's like, yeah, you could bring them places where there are events, but maybe it would also just show like, this is what we have been doing recently.
yes,
So I don't
absolutely.
think that way BZ, you volunteered to do the flyer. So this is why I'm saying this, like BZ could go ahead and get started with the flyer
Yeah,
and wouldn't have to keep updating it as events pass. So,
right. I mean, I think on the
Right.
flyer, I would say, here are some of the things we've been doing. We're looking,
yeah,
for, you know,
Perfect.
yeah.
I mean, I might even put the, you know, skate thing down just because,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
Mhm.
yeah, it's a
um,
real
Make
thing.
us look good. Make us look good, Beezy.
Okay. But I mean, I think the, you know, pickleball, I mean, we have a lot of things going on right now, and we need,
mhm,
and if we're gonna do this garden, if this ever is gonna happen, we're gonna need a lot of people to help.
Yep.
yes.
It can't be us 6 people here doing that. That's
Mm-mm.
not gonna happen.
Absolutely not.
I guess don't claim pickleball as a rec committee thing on the paper, though.
Right.
It isn't officially.
Right.
So, can I just report back? I shot Mariana an email while we were talking, and she wrote back immediately saying there is an old town rule about town announce emails that says each department has to post for itself and only itself, but that she would post it on the library Facebook page. She's
Okay,
gonna do that. So she'll do that.
great. Oh, so that's, and for the things that we're co-sponsoring, that's why she's able to do that.
To do it.
Gotcha.
Oh, but,
Okay.
I think not having her, sending it out as an email blast. I meant for her to put it on her,
Yeah, the
library
page.
director's
Right.
email, just,
Yeah, I just asked her if she'd put it up, but she's saying she can put it on Facebook, so I can ask her if she can do that other thing, but
yeah.
um,
Okay. Anything else in terms of getting new members, advertising for new members? All right.
You know what? Can I just say one last thing? I think I'll make a draft and then show it to you guys and see if,
Super.
because we don't really need it till like, I mean, our next meeting's at the end of April. So if I have a draft of it and then you guys okay it, then I'll make it ready to go in May.
Great. That sounds wonderful.
Okay.
Thanks, Beezy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, BZ.
So the next item of business is, we had started this conversation last time, but brainstorming locations for outdoor pickleball and planning visits to those sites. I have not yet, I was going to invite Brian to our next meeting with the intent of, one, just reviewing what has happened with pickleball over the course of these last few months. We're going to go through the end of April, just FYI, on the indoor pickleball. And then he's the one that first approached us about having an outdoor court. And then last week we talked about some locations, but I wonder if we could sort of go over them again and maybe make some visits to them. I can also send them off to Brian. He can go take a look at them. And then at our meeting next month, talk about where are places that we could start going and thinking about for getting funding for the pickleball courts.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
Ann?
sort of limited, isn't it? Oh, sorry, Ann. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, last week I did a very mediocre job of subbing for Barbara at the school. Because I was like too busy playing and didn't let people in. But Brian came at the end and there were 5 new people there and we ended up having this discussion about an outdoor court. So before we have discussion sites, I just want to say that one of the things that came up is that pickleball, unlike tennis, is quite noisy.
That's one of
And
the,
so we want to think about that. A couple of the people there were really interested in an outdoor court. And even Elaine, your name came up, not for you to do this, but I don't know this person well. Ken Holt?
Yeah, what about him?
Well, they were like, do we know anyone on the recreation committee? What about Elaine? And I was like, I'm on the recreation committee. But there was some interest on his part about volunteering to dig out a court. So I
sure.
should say 2 things.
He,
So
he
3
has a
things. 1, think about
tractor.
sound.
He'd love to
2,
do that.
people were interested in thinking about the elementary school because of the sound. And then there was some interest of some of these folks here about rallying people in town who could do the labor. So Elaine, you were not talked about in terms of labor. You were just talked about as a potential connection. But I thought you could correct me if I got Ken Holt's name wrong.
No, that's Ken Holt's right. And maybe Stephen would be really interested in having it in the middle of the track, because that central part of the track doesn't get a whole lot of use anyway.
yeah, Anne, could I just do an addendum on what you said? Because I thought that you had said that Elaine would be happy to spread the asphalt.
I'm sorry, Barbara, that's exactly right. My audio went out.
I was thinking of Barbara, your old tennis court, at your house.
There you go.
I mean, you do need a really a paved surface, and
Yes, you
paved
do. Mhm.
is wicked expensive. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why BZ was interesting, that there were a couple of folks there who were really interested in brainstorming around people in Shutesbury who might be able to donate their labor. So if we go forward with this, Barbara, there might be some other people who showed up
Yeah.
at pickleball that, might be willing to be part of a subcommittee, or I don't know how that
Yeah.
works, but
That would be great.
you're gonna
Yeah.
need more than labor, though. You're gonna need a ton of money.
Well, I've priced them out, and the range seems to be between, depending, $15,000 to $40,000. A lot of it has to do with what kind of surface you use.
Right.
Some of it has to do with what sorts of materials you use to fence it in, whether it's fencing or green, because you don't want the balls just going all over the place.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a range in that. There's also part of the cost is the leveling of the ground. So if we're
Right.
starting with a place that's relatively level, then that will, there won't be quite as much earth moving that will have to occur. So I'm not an expert on this, and I spent a bit of time just looking at what the costs are, what affects the costs, and we can probably keep it down on the lower side of it. And then the question is, where can we go for funding for it? But I like the idea. It would be great if it could go into the middle of the track. The only thing is that a fence would have to go around it. It can't
Yeah.
just sit in the
You're
middle.
not gonna want a fence there. I'm sure they do.
No, no,
Activities in the center of the.
yeah. But if it turned out we couldn't have a fence, one, it would save us a whole bunch of money. And two, people can chase their balls.
Yeah.
Be active.
Yeah, yeah, get some exercise there. Yeah, but because the two things that I had thought of was the noise issue. It cannot be close to people's homes. It is it's very loud. And
I
the
know
other is
someone who
any
sold their- had
liability.
to sell their house because people put in a pickleball court
Yeah,
Yeah.
next to their house and they couldn't stand it.
yeah.
Really?
That's one thing I don't like about it. It's really, I don't like the plastic whacking,
know.
you know,
Yeah,
Whacking.
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I seem to be in a very. My camera either shows things too bright or too dark here, so just gonna move so I'm not standing in the sunlight. All right. Those were the only things that I had on our agenda. Does anyone else have any other business that we need to consider?
Did we want to talk about other possible sites, Barbara?
Well, if we have ideas right now, absolutely.
Well, a couple of the ones that came up on Thursday night, the Shutesbury Athletic Club was one that Wayne had mentioned, which was sort of interesting, right? Because maybe the SAC would have a little vested interest, because maybe some pickleball folks might want to get
That's right.
pickled afterwards.
And it is an athletic club, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the neighbors could be an
Yeah.
issue there, but that's
Yes.
certainly one. And
Mhm.
then a couple people mentioned behind the, I always get, is it behind the fire station?
Fire station, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
as a potential other place.
And that would be a nicer one because you could set it back. You could put it back where the horse, what's that called?
Corral?
Corral or
Ring,
whatever that is.
ring.
Yeah, where that is. And that would be far enough back that it's not near any, it's not as close to people's houses.
Mhm.
But it's wet.
Wetlands. Ooh,
Oh dear.
Wear your mucks.
could be could be a problem.
That's
Okay.
true.
Can't pave over the wetlands.
Nope.
Nope. Well, maybe you could bring it a little closer then.
I don't think the fire
Yeah.
club's gonna want to have a pickleball court right there.
That's
by the-
true. They might not want it because then there would be, well, how about the place back behind town hall there where we were gonna do, the garden.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
one problem is that's
parking.
really sloped. That's quite a slope. So there would be a lot of grading that would have
How the hell are
regrading.
we
that would
gonna have a
to occur.
garden in there if it was that sloped?
Well, the thing is, when you talk for the garden, as long as we kept it up close, as close to the town hall lawn part as we could, we would be able to step it down, but there is definitely a slope there. But to make a perfectly flat area, I think we should look in, I mean, I'm being a naysayer here, and that's, what is it? Don't bring an umbrella to a brainstorming session. But I'll hold my umbrella up. I apologize for that. Let's look into it and see if that's doable.
Well, if you were close to town hall, that's flat right there where we put the tents for town meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, that's just it. I mean, we're gonna have town meeting there. And so
Well-
you have to be able to keep it.
Yeah, pickleball courts are not very big though. They don't take up a lot of, they're half a tennis court. You
They're
know,
20 by 45-ish.
yeah, you
something like
get
that.
two courts on one tennis court, so
Mhm.
they're not that big. It really isn't
Yeah.
that much. They're not that big.
Well, it sounds like there was a lot of interest in this from what you're saying, Anne, from the
Yeah.
pickleball players. I'd forgotten that, that Wayne had suggested the Shutesbury Athletic Club. So that we've got different possibilities. Maybe just each of us kind of ask around, Ann and I can ask at the pickleball
So
for
who
other
were Who
ideas.
were the people you were talking to, who were interested in helping Ann at pickleball?
Ken Holt and Dan and Libby. I don't know their last name.
Oh, yeah.
LASS.
Mhm.
LASS.
And who else
Wayne
was there?
Burleson, is that who you're talking about?
Who?
Wayne Burleson, is that Wayne?
No, it's, isn't it
Wayne and
Wayne?
DJ Wayne.
DJ Wayne, yeah.
It's Diane Jacoby's husband, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Yep.
he just had his 80th birthday.
Yeah,
No
He's out
way.
there every Thursday
Yeah.
and Saturday.
yep.
Wow.
But Ken Holt, he was really the one who was like, seemed to be, he was like, I have some ideas. So
Great. Get
I know.
him doing something.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
he should, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he should get on the rec committee. Look at Elaine.
Elaine.
Look at Elaine's
Why
face.
is Elaine laughing?
I know him too well. Oh, you don't want him on the rec committee? No.
Well, I think the
Libby, why don't we
pickleball,
get Libby?
well, I think
We're
with
old
pickle-
people. He's older than I am. Come on, we're old people. We need young people.
Yeah, but I think with pickleball, we'll want to do the same thing as with the garden, which is there's ultimately going to be a separate committee. We are not, with all of the other things that we do, able to be we're not going to run the community garden. We're going to support people who are running and using the community garden. And I think the same thing will likely be true for the pickleball. That I think we have we can be helpful in getting it started, just as we were helpful in getting the indoor pickleball going. But for us to take that on is a lot.
Right.
And especially if there are some real diehard pickleball people out there. And Anne, are you a diehard pickleball person now?
no, I
No.
played 5 times or 4 times, however many times I played.
You-
But
she's-
Dan and Libby, are we still recording?
my
Dan and
goodness,
Libby
yes.
apparently have made a pickleball court in their basement.
Basement. Yes.
So I would say they're diehard, having met them for the
Wow.
first time.
In their basement?
Yes.
I guess they're
Yep.
not hitting many lobs.
That's a really big basement, right?
No,
That
no,
would
they
limit
just,
your-
it's,
that would-
it's half of a pickleball court.
Oh, Elaine,
so
you
they-
sound like you
they-
know about it.
I do, I know about it. They're my friends too. They slam it up against the wall.
Wow.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
diehard, all right. They play
Wow.
3 times a week at least.
Where else do they play if they don't play in Shutesbury?
Hampshire, is it Hampshire College that has?
Yeah, it's called the Bay Road Tennis Club.
They play there.
They've made that into pickleball courts?
No, what they've done is, because they only take up a half of a tennis court, each tennis court is also taped out for 2 pickleball courts, one on each
Oh,
side of
okay.
the net. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've played tennis there, but I don't think you'd get the tennis players to give up their times for,
No, they have special time. Well, it's not special times. You can rent a court. So I was renting a court with a bunch of people for a while, but you rented the tennis court and then you got 2 pickleball courts for
Gotcha.
the cost of 1 tennis court.
Gotcha.
And then they have special pickleball times and a big organization of the people who play pickleball there. So it is kind of like the invasion of the body snatchers, only it's the invasion of the tennis court snatchers.
It has been
Okay,
fun.
well,
though.
we'll-
It's been fun, Barbara. So thank you for being a co-organizer because
You're welcome.
Nice.
It's really been great just in terms of getting to know people. I mean, I can't play because of my knee. I just go and sit and I have a nice time. So,
she can be an evil fan, just so all of you know.
oh yeah, no, what, Well, I have no idea whether the ball's in or out, but I have absolutely no problem just making a pronouncement. So,
You're a line judge?
well, not usually because people have figured that out. So I'm not really asked to be a line judge anymore.
So, what time is it? I'm so curious about it.
Oh, it'll be Thursday at 6 p.m. and then at 7 p.m. Just show up. I have extra paddles and balls.
Yeah. I don't
And then
know.
it's
It's a lot
Saturday
of
morning
fun.
too, Beezy.
Okay, I played a
It's
lot
a-
of tennis and I'm not sure I'm ready to move over to pickleball.
You
Yeah, the
never know.
last Saturday.
There
I
are
know.
people who love it. who
I
have
oh,
gone
I know,
for
I know
tennis.
plenty of friends who have moved over, but I know other people who can't make the change.
Yeah.
Let's see
Well,
how flexible you are.
I know.
Well, you know what, BZ, you could just come and scoff at the pickleball players, all kinds of
No,
possibilities.
I don't want to make fun of people's athletic activities. That's be terrible. That would be a bad person would do that. I'm just saying for me, I'm not sure if it will work for me. I
Yeah,
just don't
I
like,
know, I know. I know.
I don't like the plastic. There's so much
Yeah, the
plastic.
plastic is, I used to play tennis too, BZ, and the plastic is hard, but it is fun. So
Yeah.
I go Thursdays at 6. So if you ever want
Yeah,
to come.
I have tried it a couple times.
Yeah.
Didn't.
And then when Saturday, the time on Saturday?
Well, this coming Saturday will likely be the last Saturday, and what time do they start? Is it 9 to 11?
I can't go on Saturdays, Barbara. So I actually think it's 10 to 12, but I'm
10
not
to
sure.
12? Yeah, I can send you the times for that. The person who's doing, I can't do it Saturday mornings or don't want to do it Saturday mornings. The person who's Brian, who does it Saturday mornings, his son plays baseball or softball, and he's a coach. So there's just a lot of activities that begin to take up people's outdoor time on weekends. So he can't do it anymore on Saturday morning. So he's going to try a Sunday evening time. He's going to futzy around with that. I'm just going to stick with my Thursday time until the end of April. So I'll be there every Thursday from 6 to 8. And I'll let you know, Christine, when the Saturday time is on the 1st, which will be the last Saturday.
So why is it ending?
Mainly because we don't, Brian's got things that he wants to do outside. I've been very nice about coming in, but I can't play. So I just sit there, and you have to have a Corey test and all of this stuff in order to be able to, or Corey check in order to be able to staff it.
That seems
I suppose if somebody
ridiculous.
else, what?
Who made that rule up? That seems
That's the
ridiculous.
school. That's
I
the
know, it
school
seems
rule.
ridiculous.
Because we have keys to the
But
building.
there are no children there.
But we have keys to the building. Anybody with a key to the building.
That
yeah.
just is insane.
Yeah.
No, it's not insane. I mean, all you have to do is have somebody who's not responsibly watching everybody that's there, and somebody sneaks off and spends the rest of the day night in the building and waiting for the kids to come into school. You could have something really,
Mhm.
I mean, not that it would happen here, but Christ, with everything that's
Well, that's what they
happening
say everywhere. Yeah.
all over the country,
Uh-huh.
you have to.
I mean, I can see it when they're children in the building. I just don't see somebody. I mean, I can see why you have to have someone in charge. So you check people in and you check people out or whatever. But to be quarried, I just don't get why you'd be quarried if you're not with kids. I don't know.
Well,
That's just
I
my,
don't know. I don't know whether that's particular to them, whether it's a more general rule. I don't know, but
It's
given
it's
that
the-
I have a key, I could come and sneak in at any point.
yeah, but
it's
you're,
Other people don't, to play, you don't have to have a Corey check. To
It's-
have a key to the building, you have to have a Corey check.
right,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, just like
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
militarization of our schools.
Yeah.
Soon you'd have to be, everyone will have to sing the Pledge of Allegiance or something before you go to play, or, like,
No, just a Corey check makes
I
sense.
know,
You
I
have a
know.
key.
Don't get me
You have a
started
key.
on it.
If you have a key,
Yeah. That whole Corey thing. I failed my Corey check because being an artist, I don't have any fingerprints. They're all worn off.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't do a fingerprint for Corey.
Oh, they did when I,
Yeah,
It did for
things have
me.
changed. So even you too can get a Corey check.
everyone can get a Cory check.
Cory check. Just about.
Not
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay,
right.
So is there anything else? Are we
I
adjourned?
don't think so. If we were all set with everything and everyone knows. Okay, so we will, for those of us who are going, see everybody for the sanctuary visit
Mhm.
on the 15th.
Yeah.
Yes,
15th, and our next
Noon.
meeting is the 25th, correct?
Yeah, whatever that last Tuesday of the month is.
The
Mhm.
25th.
Yep.
Good, perfect. And I'm gonna invite Brian to come just for sort of a debrief on what's happened, and hopefully by then we'll know something about new members, and I will ask him ahead of time if he'd be interested and put his name forward if he is. Sound good?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Sounds good.
Does anyone want to move to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. And I will just say that it was unanimous, so everybody who started the meeting is still here, and all of those people voted to adjourn the meeting.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
everybody. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thanks,
too.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.